There's a rather significant verse at the very end of Daniel chapter 3 that talks about what happened to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego after they stood up to King Nebuchadnezzar, after they were saved from the fiery furnace, and after King Nebuchadnezzar praised the Almighty God because of the salvation that he'd worked for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And this verse says this: "Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon." Now, it seems to make sense, right? That if they stood up to King Nebuchadnezzar, they were proved right after they were saved from the fiery furnace, that King Nebuchadnezzar would reward them for this, because King Nebuchadnezzar knows that their God is truly powerful and truly has the power to save in this spectacular way. It makes sense. However, that verse is also significant because of the historical setting of what's going on for the Jewish people at this time. You see, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were a part of the first group of people that were exiled from Jerusalem to Babylon in 605 BC. You see, as the Babylonians eventually destroyed Jerusalem, they took people away in 3 waves. And 605 was the first wave of people that were going away. 597 was the next, and 586 was the final destruction of Jerusalem, where the temple was burned and the final exiles were taken away to Babylon. Now this is significant because it means that God sent Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and certainly others, to be in Babylon and to train in the king's service, so that they might be elevated to a position where they would be a blessing not only to the Babylonian government at that time, but that they would be a blessing for the Jewish people who were living in exile. Now, the exile was no doubt a punishment that God was bringing on the Israelite people, the Jewish people, for their faithlessness over the years. Yet God is still taking care of his people even in exile, as he puts these Jewish men in positions of authority in Babylon itself. And so God is somewhat preparing the exiles for this very moment where Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be in those positions to be a blessing to others. God does that for you in your life as well, and for the people around you in your life. He uses you to bless others. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were going to be blessings for the Jewish people. You are blessings for other people. And to think about this, we have to think about vocations. And so here's an example. If you have a marriage that's a good marriage, then it will be a blessing to your spouse. God will use you to be a blessing to your spouse. God will use you to be a blessing to your children if God has blessed you with children. And now think about the impact of that. God hasn't just used you to be a blessing to your spouse and to your children, but he has used you to be a blessing to all of the people that your spouse will impact. If your spouse is in a good marriage with you, now your spouse will be a more positive impact in the world. If your kids are in a stable home, in a stable family, your kids will have a greater impact in the world around them. And the ripple effect of this goes on and on. And this is how God uses you to bless others, and the people that you bless to bless others as well. God works through your vocation as a husband or a wife to bring this about. Now, this is true not just in the vocation of being a spouse or being a father or a mother, but this is true in any of your vocations. It could be where you work. It could be the fact that you're a son or a daughter. It could be the fact that you're a grandma or a grandpa. It could be the fact that you're a friend who has an impact on somebody else's life. God uses you to bless others, and God blesses others when you are faithful to him and his word. Another thing we learned from this is that your faithfulness will be rewarded. Now, we have to say this, that if it is not rewarded in this life, then it will certainly be rewarded in the next. It will certainly be rewarded when you are in heaven with him. We can't say that you being faithful in the things in this life will certainly mean that you have the great job or the idyllic family or any of those sorts of blessings. It's not a cause and effect in that way. But we trust that when we are faithful to God and his word, that he will bring about blessing in whatever form that he deems fit, because the Lord is wise and in control of over all things, and he works for the good of those who love him, and he blesses faithfulness in that way. And God, who gives in great abundance, can give blessings both on earth here and in heaven. And so it is our job to be faithful to God's word, to be faithful what he has called us to do, that we might be a blessing to others and that we might be blessed.